suffers first setback. Tonight on Top Story, first step to the biggest legal battle in Ghana's political history suffers first setback.
Strengthening our democracy. That is why we thought we should adopt the procedure. That is to say, to be heard in camera. It is for the stability of this country, it is for the security of this country, it is to maintain the integrity and respect of the judiciary. But if the court say they are the final arbiter.
MPP earlier on were insisting that we should bring the television cameras into court. Now, what stops them now? What's changed that now we want to go into chambers to hear any case? We want the people of this country to hear everything, to follow the argument, and the truth will come out.
The opposition MPP shot itself in the foot with the case set to stall with the latest twist. We'll get answers from lawyers Nana Todaze and Gloria Kofo here on Top Story. Top Story is brought to you by Bond Financial Services, your success, our passion, Belacqua Mineral Water, the new generation mineral water, Blue Rose Limited, as well as myjoyonline.com. It was meant to be a simple and straightforward hearing, a quick premise to the substantive petition by MPP seeking to overturn EC's declaration of President John Mahama as winner of the 2012 elections. Though the MPP desires a speedy trial, its decision to demand reconstitution of the panel of Supreme Court judges for the case could well be the first move likely to drag the matter. They have been asked to file a formal application to make their case while the matter stands adjourned indefinitely. Lawyer Nana Todaze, a former chief of staff in the Rawlings administration and member of the NDC legal team seeking to join the case, is here with me in the studio. Also, we'll have on the line Gloria Kofo, a former Deputy Attorney General in the Kufuor administration and a key member of the Nana Kufuor legal team. We'll be joined shortly by Nana Todaze here in the studio. Well, the issue had a lot of public attention this morning on radio and online as well. We are now joined by Nana Todaze. He is a member of the NDC legal team who was also in court today as the case rolled in. Well, a good evening to you, Nana Todaze, and thanks for joining us here on Top Story.
Yeah,
now,
good evening. To
start with you, as things stand now, your application to be allowed to join the case might not be heard anytime soon.
Well, yes, unfortunately, that it looks like that's the situation, but that's a fault of ours. We better ask the people who are asking for the matter to be dealt with, other than the joinder.
Well, your argument centrally is that the NDC ought to be joined to protect its interests because the outcome of the case will affect the party which sponsored Mr. Mahama in the 2012 elections. But the petitioners insist you are an unnecessary party seeking only to delay the case so President Mahama can stay in office.
Yes, I'd rather wait until the Supreme Court gets into the meat of the matter. You understand, when they have to look at the issue in depth. This is the centrality of the matter before the court itself. But suffice to say that, look, this is our political philosophy, the kind of democracy we are operating. It's underpinned by multipartyism. You understand? The capturing political height is through the political, the partisan vehicle, you see, the party vehicle. So really, for us, I mean, the issue of the role of the parties, the IPAC literally run everything, you see. So we are a key member of the IPAC, we are a key political party, we sponsor the candidate. If there's a problem, the interest of John Mahama as president or as candidate is of course coterminous with ours. I mean, there can't be any doubt whatsoever about it. If he survives, NDC survives with the president. If he loses, he loses. So really, in terms of the joinder concept, we will be arguing our case that we are, in fact, a necessary party to to, as the lawyers say, ensure that there's a full and effectual, handling of this matter instead of the multiplicity of cases.
But walking in court today, you were expecting that this matter be dealt with in dispatch. Were you surprised by the turn of events?
Oh, absolutely. We were clearly surprised by the sudden application that we should go retire into chambers to look at another matter. It turns out that the matter related to something about the composition of the panel. I mean, really, everybody else can have a problem with the panel. It's not as though the NDC team may not probably have some problem with 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5, But we all have to have a build faith and confidence in the judiciary and the judicial system. So we'll go by their values.
Earlier, there was a suggestion also that one of the persons that were the judge, which was the MPP, has been questioning about him being on a panel, was the presiding judge in the person of Justice Atuguba.
Yes.
There have been suggestions that his relation to his cousin might be the reason why the MPP is actually calling for the reconstitution of the panel. Are you aware of this?
Yes. Well, we didn't know about this, and we didn't think that what was going to come. But immediately they raised the objection to the panel, or possibility of objection to a panel. We got to know that apparently earlier today, radio is OK FM or so. An honorable member of Parliament, Titus Glover, had actually indicated on that FM program that they were going to raise an objection to Justice Atuguba in court today. How they got to know that he's going to sit, that's another matter.
Well, Titus Glover is not a member of the MPP legal team, so how did you come by this decision?
Well, I think that we should ask him. But we are certain that we had. So it was out of that we got to know that this argument
essentially you are
on radio,
making this argument, you are raising this allegation. How true is this about him being on OKFM today?
Well, I have but I don't what do you call it, have any doubts about the fact that he's a regular. He said a few things about me myself on those stations before. I've accosted him. I know he's a regular. He's one of their communication guys. So that the issue doesn't arise at all. But the point about it is that on that station, he did intimate, among other things, that the objection they were going to raise is because Justice Atuguba is a cousin to Dr. Atuguba, Raymond Atuguba, who is now the executive secretary to the president.
Yeah. But why is the NDC worried about an objection which is clearly allowed by law?
Worried? We're not worried. They have a problem. They have to establish proof. Listen, in law, we are not talking law. In law, if you raise an objection against a judge, there's a standard you must measure up to. And for that kind of situation, you must come to what we term a real likelihood of bias. Hey, that's a long, tall order for you to show that by reason of A, B, C, D, there's a real likelihood that the judge cannot dispense justice, fairly. Well, but again, they are alleging.
They are alleging.
Yeah.
Well, we were actually able to speak to a member of the MPP legal team, Gloria Kofo. Unfortunately, we are not getting through to her. She's actually not picking up her lines, but we'll still try and get to her on the line. But I still have with me Nana Atuaza here in the studio. Certainly, this issue is of immense public interest. You were raising the point earlier today that the nature of the case and the call by the MPP that this particular issue of reconstitution be done in camera and not in the full glare of the public. Why were you worried about this essentially?
Well, we're worried because first of all, the whole legal framework within which a petition might be brought, it's been set out in CI 74. I have a copy of it here, and if you bear with me, section 69C3 is absolutely clear. It says, subject to the Constitution and any other enactment, the hearing of a petition shall take place in open court. It's in an open court. It's absolute. You see, after all, when we talk about an election petition, like in this case, we are talking about 11 million Ghanaians who have gone and voted almost, right? 47 or so for Nana Akufo-Addo, another 50.7 for President Mahama. Those persons are critically interested in whatever happens to their vote. whether their vote is obtained or retained. You understand? So a debate pertaining to what has happened must be on a public document.
Earlier
on,
when Gloria Akufo granted an interview to the press,
yes,
just in front of the courthouse, she indicated that the reason why they wanted this particular issue to be dealt with in camera was because they wanted to respect the sanctity of the court, to preserve the sanctity of the Supreme Court. And so that was why they were calling that this issue be dealt with, so you don't have an unnecessary attention on the Supreme Court judges.
I respect her view. I respect her view. But clearly, I mean, she also does know that, she knows that there is no, what do you call it, no court is ever, soiled or demeaned or reputation lowered by the truth. If it is true that the judge is related to the what do you call it, the executive secretary, and for that reason, it's not likely to dispense justice, why should it be a secret? Why should it be indoors? Why should it be in chambers? Let's put it out there. Let the public judge it.
You think it may bring unnecessary attention to the Supreme Court judge?
Oh, absolutely, but that's the truth. At the end of the day, even if you dispose of it, the public will have to know. So I'm saying that let's get back to what the petition is. It's not a petition, a marriage petition between two persons. This is a petition pertaining to the election of a president in which the whole country participated. Man, it's been very expensive business for us. And after all, I'm sure you must have heard the NPP, functionaries earlier on, claiming that we should bring the television cameras into what do you call it? Into the courts.
But today,
so why now go into chambers?
Clearly, you've changed your mind. Initially, they made the point essentially that they wanted to respect the sanctity of the court, not to call unnecessary attention on the Supreme Court judge. Is that not a fair call?
No, but I'm saying that in our legal jurisprudence, it is understood that to tell a judge that he cannot be fair, it's legitimate. I have posed that in public, in public. You tell the judge, my Lord, for reasons A, B, C, D, I pray that you step down.
As it stands, the case has been adjourned indefinitely. For the NDC legal team, what happens now? What's next?
Well, we are not the ones who took the case into court. You understand?
But certainly you were there to join in the case.
Yes.
So what happens to you now?
Well, we wait. It's not in absolute terms. They are to go home and do their homework and come back. We are saying that we are not conceding even one vote unless there are good grounds for releasing that.
Good grounds. When you say good grounds, exactly what you mean?
No, I'm saying if they can prove their case. They want to court to say that the votes as counted, either fraudulent or whatever it is. Of course, he who alleges must prove. That's law.
All right, many thanks to you, Nana. So that's we were scheduled to speak to Gloria Akufo, who is a member of the NPP legal team, but unfortunately we are unable to reach. Well, she joins us now on the line. Many thanks for joining us this evening here on Top Story. Now, first, why are you opposed to the NDC being allowed to join President John Mahama and the Electoral Commission to fight the case? Do I have Akufo on the line with me?
Hello.
Yes, good evening and thanks for joining us here on Top Story. I was asking, first of all, that why are you opposed to the NDC being allowed to join President John Mahama and the Electoral Commission to fight the case?
Why are we doing what?
Why are you opposed to the NDC being allowed to join President John Mahama and the Electoral Commission to fight the case?
Because we don't think that it is necessary for them to join the matter for the issues that we have put in the petition to be determined. And those are the rules.
Why is it not necessary?
When you join a party to a suit, it is because that the party joining will make it necessary for the court to deal with all the issues arising effectively. And we think that the issues before the court can be determined and that their joinder will only delay this matter unnecessarily.
What is the purpose of your objection to the panel of judges for this case?
First of all, I think that it's been put out there that we are not happy with the judges. It is not correct. We have complete confidence in the judiciary. We decided only to take objection in regard of only one of them, and we decided for good reason to do that in camera. However, after consultations and after disclosing our position in camera, the court decided that we should put it into writing and make a formal application for the court's consideration. So that's where we are.
Well, earlier on, the NPP was suggesting that this be, because the issue is of indeed huge public interest, it be done in public. So why the
I didn't get that.
today?
Can you speak a bit slowly?
Okay, I was saying that earlier on, the NPP was suggesting that since this issue is of huge public interest, it be done in the full glare of the public. So why the proposal today for it to be done in camera?
But the two positions are not mutually exclusive. Generally, the principle is that all matters must be heard openly to ensure transparency, and that adjudication must be done in public. But the rules also make provision where it is necessary that the court should hear certain matters which are of great concern, such as moral sensitivity, national security, etc., that they be heard outside of the public domain. And therefore, this is one of the situations in our discretion that the court would exercise its discretion to have the matter heard outside of the public domain. So the two are not. The request that the matter should be aired to the public is not contrary to the request, because the exception is available where the exigencies of the situation requires so.
Well, finally, how soon are you filing the formal application as ordered by the courts today?
We just came out of court. We are working on it. Today is Thursday, so we are still working on it. As soon as we are done, in a matter of days, we should be in court.
All right, many thanks to you, Gloria Kufuor, a member of the NPP legal team. And that's all time will allow us for Top Story this evening. My name is Francis Allen. Top Story is brought to you by Bond Financial Services, your success, our passion, Belacco Mineral Water, the new generation mineral water, Blue Rose Limited, as well as myjoyonline.com. Now,